Welcome back to the Informed Pregnancy and Parenting Podcast. I'm your host, pregnancy-focused chiropractor, Dr. Elliot Berlin. Today, we have a returning guest. She was last on the podcast very pregnant with a breech baby, and plans were sort of unfolding on how to give birth. Now, she's had the baby, and she's returned to share the story. Esmee Geeratz. Not even close?
Yes, you say it very well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the podcast, and congratulations, Mama.
Thank you so much.
You did it. Well, I don't know how or what, but you did it. And sometimes, once in a while, I wish this podcast was video together with audio. You are beaming. I mean, the baby's what, 2 weeks old?
Yeah, I don't feel that way, but thank you.
I look how you feel. And I don't know how you look, but you look like, okay, I had a baby, I don't know, a year ago. You look rested. You look fantastic. So let's dig right into it. So you were into your pregnancy doing all these different things to try to help your baby flip. Give us a reminder. What things did you try?
Sure. Well, of course, I saw you.
And I failed.
Every week. No, you didn't. It was very helpful for labor and acupuncture, spinning babies, masturbation, talking to the baby, meditations, everything I think there is. Yeah.
Did you try manually turning the baby?
That's the only thing I didn't try. Where the other things felt soft and right for me, this felt a little like to turn a being that is deciding to sit that way and then manually turn him from the outside. It felt a little rough or something. It didn't quite feel like something I would do. So I didn't do that.
And you had been planning a home birth.
Yes.
So let's put this back. You're from Amsterdam. So do you know if there are birth options for breech babies?
Only in the hospital. Yeah. So
they do vaginal breech delivery, but in the hospital?
They do. Yeah. Yeah. So I was glad to be here, actually. So I could do it at home.
Which is interesting because you said a lot of people do home birth.
Yes, we have around 30% of people doing home birth. I was born at home. My partner was. So It's very regular. Not over here.
Yeah.
But there it's a normal thing, 1 in 3.
I don't know. With the price of gas the way it is, I think more people are going to give birth at home.
Yeah.
Looking for that drive. Although you said everybody rides bicycles by you, so that's not a factor.
No.
But we did say that's probably why there's so much home birth, because deep in labor, you'd have to go get on your bicycle to get to the hospital.
Not so comfortable.
Who wants that? Okay, so for you, home birth is a kind of a natural thing. Well, it sounds like about 1 in 3 people in Amsterdam give birth at home. And vaginal breech delivery is not super taboo. It's just not done at home.
Sure.
So for you, it's not like that foreign, except that you're here in the shiny United States of America, where we don't really have that many people doing home birth, like, 1.5% roughly. And we have very few people attending breech birth vaginally. So a little bit of a pickle for you. And you didn't want to do the ECV, but you didn't want to have a cesarean birth or even a hospital birth.
No, I had this strong urge that I wanted to try at home, at least. I was, willing to, whatever would happen, to pivot with the situation. But I had confidence that with the right team, I could do it at home. And I'm very sensitive to energy, to smells, to people. And I thought, for me, the best labor experience for me, where I feel safe, is at home, to be in my own environment and to have a team that I chose to be there that felt right for my labor. A lot of people feel much safer in a hospital, which I also totally understand.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I always recommend that people give birth where they feel safe, where they feel most relaxed, obviously within the realm of reasonable risk, but all things being equal, then some people are so relaxed at a hospital and feel so much safer there. That's a great place to give birth, and other people don't, and they feel much safer at home. So It's an important factor to take into account. So who did you select for your team? I remember you switched midwives towards the end when you were breech and trying to sort of pivot gears to a breech-friendly team.
Yes, I did. I had my doula, Stacy Blackwell. I had my Stacy, I wanted to say.
Oh, well, you did have your Stacy.
Yeah, I did.
You better be careful because a lot of people call her their Stacy too.
Yeah. And she was my doula for months. So she recommended a new midwife, or for me new, Alex Evangelidi, and she was a great match. And through Instagram, God bless Instagram in that way, I found birthing instincts from Dr. Fishbein.
Yeah.
And working with him is Dr. Victoria Flores, and she does breech deliveries at home as well. And she happened to share office with Alex, which is also funny. Sometimes it lines up. And they both were willing to take us on at 36 weeks. So
yeah, I imagine that's something that they encounter fairly regularly when people find out I'm breached and I have very few options. Probably their phone starts ringing.
Yeah, I think I was a little later on to the game.
Most people don't find out until 33 weeks or so. So
no, yeah,
you don't get that much time.
No.
Okay, so you have a medical doctor who does home birth and a midwife. In California, midwives, can't be the sole provider for a home birth anymore. And then you have your Stacy.
Yes, she's mine now.
You're mine. I marked you.
Yeah.
And then you have you and your husband.
Yes, and the midwife and the Dr. Flores, they both had an assistant as well.
Oh, wow. It's like a full house. You guys
full house.
Basketball, 5-on-5. Okay. All right. I got to find out how this whole experience went. I really want to know the juicy details. We'll be right back with Esmee. Welcome back to the Informed Pregnancy and Parenting Podcast. We're talking to new mama, Esmee, who has more energy and radiance, and you look like you've not been sleep deprived at all. I don't know how you do it, but actually you do take very, very good care of your body, your machine. So I guess it does pay off.
It does help, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. To make you feel even better, I went to the opposite end of the spectrum for contrast. I'm doing my part to help. Okay, so your plans are changing. Your baby's breech. You're hanging upside down. You're burning weird smoky stuff at your toes. You're subjecting yourself to my 18 plus years of dad jokes while I'm trying to loosen up your body. And nothing's happening. So you switch teams. You've got a midwife and a midwife assistant, a medical doctor and a medical doctor's assistant. Your Stacy, which is Stacy Blackwell, your doula. And then you also have your husband. Did he have an assistant? No. Okay.
No. The only one who didn't.
Oh, wow. Yeah. But he's your assistant. So really it's you and your assistant.
Yes.
Okay. How does labor begin for you?
I lost my mucus plug the day of. And normally you can lose it and walk around for 2 weeks. But I kind of knew I think this is it. Because, call me a little crazy, but I really talked to the baby we're ready for you. I wasn't done being pregnant, but I was ready for him. We had everything in place. So I was kind of talking to him we're ready, you can come. And then a day later, it all started. I believe in that stuff. Most people don't, but I think it's helpful.
You're crazy. I mean, you told me to call you crazy.
Yeah.
Where are you in relation to your due date?
I was 39 weeks and 4 days at that point.
So you're approaching the center of the target in terms of guessing when the baby is coming.
Yeah.
And you signal politely, hey, now is not a bad time if you're available.
Yeah.
And your plug comes out and it feels like things are getting very close. Did you lose your plug? Did you just notice it in the toilet or?
I noticed it in my underwear.
Okay.
And then the midwife was like, send me a picture. I don't want to see
they always want pictures. Yeah, they always want pictures.
Their iCloud must be gross.
I know, seriously. I was just thinking of those TikToks where they say, put your last 10 pictures to this music.
No, they cannot do that.
They cannot do that. No. You know what? They should open just an account called Lost and Found for all those mucus plugs that have been lost. Okay, I mean, if you're not grossed out, can I ask you details about your plug?
Sure, you can do anything.
Was it what was it compared to what you expected it to be? Big or small? The coloring of it?
I Googled a few days before the way it looked because I didn't know. People just told me it kind of looks like snot sometimes. And it could be blood, there could be this. I'm like, okay, I'll just Google it. Kind of looked like you blow your nose.
Okay. But like you blow your nose and there's a lot in there.
No, not too much, but I
So
just
yours was
knew
small.
like, this is it. Yeah, this
Okay.
is the thing.
Did you have any color to it? Was there any blood?
No, nothing. So I just knew like,
just
okay.
boogers.
Yeah, boogers.
All right. So you send the picture, discard the plug, and then that is what time of day?
Yeah, that was like midday and nothing happened. But
what day of the week?
It was Wednesday.
Okay. So Wednesday midday, you lose your plug and you kind of feel it coming. So are you excited? Are you like, hey, this is one big step closer?
I was excited. And also the 2 days before, I was stocking up on groceries like there was a apocalypse coming or something.
Oh, like a pandemic or whatever?
Yeah.
What would give you that crazy idea?
Yeah, I stocked the fridge and everything. I thought we're so close, better have food at the house.
I think that every day.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not what I regularly do. Like my partner Vincent, he looked at the cabinets. He was like, "What are you doing?" It's like, now we have food. You know, there's a lot of people, they nest, and that was my form of nesting.
Your nesting was filling the nest with whatever
Parmesan cheese and
lucky bird. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you fill up the house, and then that's Wednesday.
Yeah, and the funny thing, my partner told me a few days after, he came home that night, and he is a music producer. He works in the studio, and he thought, I think she's close. I'll take everything I need from my studio because I don't think I will return here in a few, like for a while. But he didn't tell me that. So he came home with all his, equipment and everything he needs at home. So it was interesting. And he came home, we had dinner, and he fell into a deep sleep. And I thought, that's smart. If it starts tonight, then he has a sleep.
He's rested.
So, yeah.
But you didn't think maybe you should go sleep?
I was resting as well, but I was also excited and starting to cramp a little, like lightly. So, but I also thought, okay, for some people that's days, it can be days. So
I've had cramps for almost a week after some bad chicken.
What did you eat?
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
I should have stocked up. Fresh food. Okay, so your plug is out, you're cramping. Unbeknownst to your husband, brings home his whole studio.
Yeah.
And okay, now what time is it?
It was later in the evening, I think like 11 or 12. And we fall asleep on the couch a lot. We have a very comfy couch. And he moved to the bed, and I was excited, and the cramping was definitely picking up. And I wasn't timing anything, but I thought maybe I should time this because it seems like there's a pattern. So I did, but it was like 5 minutes and sometimes 7 minutes. Yeah. So they were close together, but not like a pattern to call anyone. Mm-hmm. But I did text the birth team. We had a group chat with everyone in there.
Well, you have to with that kind of crowd.
Yes. Yeah. And also Dr. Flores was like, without traffic, she was an hour and a half away.
Oh, wow.
And with traffic, it could be 2.5 hours. So, first time mamas usually take a longer time. But I wanted to keep everyone informed.
Sounds like a good time for Uber or Chopper.
Yeah, really.
Oh, so you wanted to keep everybody really well informed.
Yeah, I texted Stacy too, and I texted her the minute, and she was like, get some rest, try to sleep. So I did. I went to bed and had a few hours of sleep.
Great. What happened then?
And then I woke up at like 5 a.m. It was too intense for the cramps or contractions at that point to sleep through. So I texted Stacy, and also, I first got out of the bed, didn't wake up my partner, because I really enjoy just one moment with myself, just like to sound hippy dippy, but like to ground myself, like, okay, you can do this. It's going to be okay. You can handle this sensation, just to be, I don't know, center myself without having anyone else involved. Yeah, that was nice. I did that in the bathroom, and then contractions really picked up.
Okay, so 2 questions off the bat. Where are you feeling them at this point?
I was feeling the contractions, luckily, like in my uterus, like strong menstrual cramps, not in my back. I've heard that's rigorous.
It looks terrible. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
So you felt it like low in your belly, kind of
Yeah.
centered.
Yeah, centered. Yeah.
But they're intense.
They were, picking up, like it was, from waking up to pain that I couldn't sleep through to moving to the bathroom. I think moving also like made it pick up. Yeah, from in just a few minutes, I thought, okay, I think I need to text people.
Yeah. Are you able to breathe and let them move through you, or do you feel yourself tensing up?
I was, and I woke up my partner, Vin, because he had to set up the bed and everything. We have a wide bed, a wide rug.
Oh, everything's white.
Yeah, He had to do like a Dexter emergency preparation.
Saran wrap everywhere.
Yeah, we had like all these equipments for painters and everything to,
the tarps.
Yeah, to wrap everything and lots of towels and
Okay, then my second question was, when you're in the bathroom and things are picking up, are you like sitting on the toilet or standing? Did you get into a shower or tub? What are you doing in there?
When it really picked up, Stacey suggested, she wasn't here yet, but she suggested get in the shower on your birth ball and try to bounce and be under the warm water. But for some reason, I did that for a few minutes. And I thought, no, I don't want to be here. It's really strange how you in labor like have places you really don't want to be and you do want to be, or you want to be touched or you don't, it's,
I could tell you this as a guy who does body work at birth all the time. There are moments where, if I were to take my hands off of someone's back, they would freak out and scream, get your hands back there. And then 2 seconds later, it's like, okay, that's too much. Get off, And it's
exactly.
just, you learn to find the rhythm and to communicate without even using words. But it's just like so interesting how in 1 minute, don't touch me. In the next minute, why aren't you there?
Yeah.
And also the temperature, like, oh, I'm so hot. I'm freezing. I'm hot.
Yeah.
Those fluctuations are so interesting. And then, usually like if you close your eyes and take a deep breath, your body will tell you if either the position or the surroundings that you're in are favorable or not. It's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. I want to find out more, but we should take another break. And then when we come back, the rest of the story. Welcome back. We're talking to Esmee. Gosh, things are heating up. You're having surges or contractions. Luckily, like strong menstrual cramps in your lower belly, your body says no to the shower with the birth ball. You're texting your whole crowd, especially your doctor, who's like 1 to 3 hours away. What happens next?
Yeah, weirdly enough, I moved to my garden.
Oh,
and it was about 6 a.m. then, so it was still, the sun wasn't out yet, but birds were chirping. And we have a fairly small garden, but it's full of bamboo and it's like secluded, so no one can look into it. So it's very private.
Oh, nice.
But for some reason, I like the fresh air, and I put down a bath mat and my birth ball where I leaned on, and I was on my knees and then leaned on the birth ball and moved. And that was my sweet spot. That's where I stayed for a while.
That sounds beautiful. Were you vocalizing? Were you making noise?
Not yet. At that point, I was still breathing.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Yeah. And Stacey arrived a few minutes later. And I know Alex texted her, the midwife. She was like, is she in active labor? And Stacey said, she's so in it. Like, it's hard to get contact with her. So, she's in active labor.
So they start heading over?
Yeah, the rest of the team started heading over. And luckily, like, Flores already was on her way because she saw the timing of the contractions and she followed everything. And she thought, okay, I better go over there. So she came around 6:30 or 6:45, and she suggested to check me, which I wanted. I was ready for that to see where it was at, but it's also scary because you're like, I hope it's not,
Right. What if it's a half a centimeter?
Yeah. Definitely. But it was funny. I even have a picture of it. I have 2 like sunbeds we have a small pool, and I have 2 sunbeds, and they just laid a towel on the sunbed outside.
Oh, and they checked you there?
Yeah, they checked me there.
Oh, good thing for that bamboo.
Yeah. She has this ultrasound on her phone, which is amazing because she
What?
Yeah, she wanted to check the baby's position again. It's on her phone. It's incredible.
Okay, wait. It's got to be a probe that attaches to her phone.
Yeah, it
Okay,
is.
and her phone
Yeah.
is the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really
Incredible.
cool. Okay.
Yeah. So she wanted to check if the baby was still frank breech, which means bum down, which is a good way to labor.
Oh, if you're going to be breech.
Yes.
I'm looking for an app that lets my Android phone make fresh pasta.
Maybe it's doable.
I'm not there yet. I'm working on it. So sharks, who wants?
Yeah.
Okay, back to you. So when she checks you, you find out that
I was 6 centimeters.
Oh, amazing!
So
Does that feel good?
I was still breathing. It was painful, but I was like, okay, I think I've got this.
Only 4 to go.
Yeah, and I wasn't in panic. My worry beforehand was like, okay, what if the sensations overwhelm you from the beginning? Could be. You don't know. You've never done labor, so I was happy. Yeah.
In addition to the laboring, you also have a breech baby, which again here is sort of considered taboo-ish, scary, risky. I'm not judging for anything for anybody, but is that even on your mind at all? Or are you just like in regular plain old labor?
I was just, and I don't know from any different because it's my first baby, but I was in regular plain old labor, but I was already in that state the last few weeks you saw me. Mm-hmm. I was going to you with the intention like, okay, let's loosen this body up for labor. Either way, this baby comes out. Right. Yeah. And
towards the end, you realistically realized this baby is probably not going to turn, and I'm okay. I'm going to just deliver. And being frank breech does give you that advantage. Out of all the breech positions, the safer one to deliver. Okay, 6 centimeters. What next?
I moved to a shower again, another
indoors?
Shower indoors. Okay. And that was good to have the heat on my back. I still didn't have contraction in my back, but it was just nice to be under warm water. Yeah. And to change your scenery is good, I guess. And Stacy was squeezing my hips, which, if she left for the bathroom, I was like, where is she?
I know.
Yeah.
If you're a good hip squeezer, you can't even have anything in a drink 2 hours before the birth.
No. And my partner, he was really sweet. He tried to squeeze when she left, but it wasn't as good. It's a technique, and
it's a technique. If he practices with a whole bunch of ladies in labor, he'll get really good at it.
Yeah. But so that happened, and then I had a birth pool as well, actually.
Oh, nice. Filled up and warm?
Yeah, the assistants were filling that up while I was in that shower. And then I moved to that pool, which was really nice for the transition. Yeah, and that was also a moment where I said to Vincent, like, wow, this is, and also a moment where I realized, I wanted to do this at home. I didn't want any epidural or, and I was like, okay.
Thinking.
Yeah, there's no way back now. Yeah, there was a moment like that, but, I knew transition is where you think like, okay, can I do this? You have a moment of wow.
Self-doubt, but it's it's also the climax. Like it's generally your last wall of fear to overcome, and then boom, it just autopilot takes over.
Yeah. So this was around 9:00, and I felt pushy already. Like I felt these surges that were stronger, that were crunching my whole belly. So I knew like, okay, I think this is like where I push. And they checked me again, and yes, I was 10 centimeters.
10 centimeters. They checked you in the water, huh?
They checked me in the water. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Is Dr. Flores transducer for the iPhone water?
She didn't do that.
She didn't do it. Okay.
Yeah.
My pasta maker works in a tub.
Yeah.
All right, 10 centimeters ready to push. But you knew before they checked you.
Yeah, really I could feel it, but I'm really in tune with my body, so I know. And I know, I guess a lot of women know when they labor, but
sometimes, like everything, some more than others.
Yeah.
So how's pushing?
That was a moment where in the water, it didn't really work. I think the water was too relaxing or something, and there's no gravity in there. And for some reason, I wanted to be kind of on my hands and knees. And after a few trying of pushing, I thought, this is not working for me. So I got out of the tub and got on to all these paddings they laid over our white
White bed.
rug.
Oh, the white rug.
The rug, it was still the rug. I tried on a birthing stool, which I thought looks like a stool, but this one, it was just an iron, I would call it, It didn't look like a stool. I thought you could really sit on it, but it's more...
Oh, it's empty in the middle.
Yeah, it's empty.
It's more to like squat.
Yeah, there's no support really.
No.
But yeah, so I tried that. And that was also a moment where I felt fear, because I felt every time I pushed, I felt more pain. And it's really weird because you've been breathing through those contractions and kind of like breathing them, letting them move through you. And then you have to work with them. So it's really a switch where they ask you to push on a contraction, and with pushing you
surrender.
Yeah, you tense your body, you work, I was tensing my jaw and everything. So it was the first moment I did feel afraid, but I was vocalizing that. I just said to everybody, I was like, I'm afraid. So they could tell me like, okay, that's okay, but we're moving through, pulling through here.
This is like 24 hours since you first felt things, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Those surges before you went to bed.
Yeah.
And Stacey said get some rest. Did you, now that you're 10 centimeters and pushing in different formats, did you kind of feel the baby? Did you either see or reach up and feel the baby?
I didn't. I was feeling his little head still in my tummy. And they also told me to push down a little bit because that helped. So I did that. And at that moment while I was pushing, his heart rate went down every time I pushed. And it went down into the 90s, but also one time into the 70s. Oh, wow. So, that was not good. So every time... This is
not when you're, just to clarify, you're not pushing with your hands, like pushing the baby down. It's just you're pushing like a regular...
sorry. Yes.
Labor pushing. No, I just want to clarify. So labor pushing, and every time you push, the baby's heart rate starts to decelerate.
Yes.
One time, scarily low. Are people getting nervous at that point?
Vincent was, my partner was. He didn't show that to me. He was so calm the whole labor. Like, God bless him.
Yeah. Oh, he's great.
Yeah. And no, but Dr. Flores, everyone was very calm, but she was like, okay, get up. After every contraction, she made me get up and move my body, dance, wiggle, and talk to my baby. She was like, connect to your baby. And then his heart rate jumped back up again to like 140. Wow. Yeah, within a few seconds. So it was really weird to witness. Of course, I was in it, but I was hearing all the numbers. And that happened every time. So it was like a dance. They made me push, and then I had to stand up, dance, talk to the baby. Stacey said, you're really like swinging your hips. Like, yeah. And I was just doing what I was told. So I wasn't really there. I think for my partner, it was way scarier because he saw me in pain. Saying I was afraid. He saw the heart rate of the baby go down, but I was just working. I thought, no, he needs to get out. Yeah.
How long did that go on?
It went on for like 10 times trying the push. And then you have some time in between where there isn't a contraction. But eventually, because that was happening, I just was pushing. Even if I didn't have a contraction, I thought, okay, let's go. And I think it was good for me to move through my fear, knowing that the baby he was recovering really well, but he also wasn't coping while I was pushing. So it was a good motivation for me to set aside my fears. I think that's parenthood. And you work for your baby.
During that process, did you feel, were there signs of progress that you're bringing the baby down?
I didn't feel that. I just felt pain. And in the meantime, we were also trying different positions. So they had me lay on my back on the bed. Didn't work at all for me. Back on the birthing stool. We even got a squatty potty out. Oh, wow. I was on the birthing stool and we turned the birthing stool around. So it was backwards. I was on a squatty potty with one foot. And that's when I made the most progress. Like, oh, wow. That's when his little bum like moved past my pubic bone. And yeah, he was ready to be born.
The squatty pushy.
Yeah, the squatty potty. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so then did you at any point feel with your hand what was coming through?
No, and also Breech is supposed to be hands off, like you shouldn't touch the baby. in case they
That's no fun.
startle and gasp, like because their head is still inside. So they don't recommend that. So yeah, I didn't even ask if I was allowed to do it, but I don't think so. It's hands off for everybody.
Yeah, or
And
sometimes they just have a mirror so you can see.
Yeah, and my partner was in front of me while I was pushing, and he was seeing the baby in between my legs because the birthing stools, it gives you clear vision.
Open, yeah.
Yeah,
not like your backyard.
No, no, my personal backyard. And he was telling me what was happening. So he was like, "Yeah, the bum's out, the legs are almost out. You're doing so great." So he was vocalizing what he was seeing, which gave me motivation, like, okay, I'm doing this right, because the birth team was like, okay, push, like they're supposed to. Yeah. But it was good to have a visual being told to me, like, he's almost out. And I was scared that the head might take a while. I don't know why. I had that idea in mind beforehand with him being breached, head being born last. I thought, what if that doesn't come out? But that went within a minute or so from his body being born. So
you're standing at that point?
No, I was still on the birthing stool with one foot on my squatty potty.
So you're sort of in a squat with your one leg up.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So. Oh, and Victoria Flores, the doctor, she had her hands like kind of up in my perineum, like lifting my butt cheeks to give the baby more space.
I wonder what year of medical school that technique is.
Oh my God. But it was helpful. But she was like, so close to me, like lifting my butt open. Alex was below, like laying to see if the baby was coming. Like, Wow. But at that moment, you're like, okay,
Do you know what reminds me a little bit of, like, when you take the car for the oil change and they go downstairs and they're looking up from underneath and just,
It's like that.
That's what it sort of sounds like.
Yeah.
Jiffy birth.
Yes.
Okay, so then the baby comes out.
Yeah, he comes out.
But first,
because he was so close to the ground, they had a lot of soft padding, and because it's hands off, they kind of, don't know if you've watched lots of breech births. They let the baby kind of fall out. It sounds not good, but that's the best for them. And I moved to the bed, and they carried him, through my legs. And
still attached by the cord.
And they put him on a bed next to me because they kind of wanted to see, like, if he was okay from having that heart rate go down. But his heart rate was good. He didn't need any suctioning, didn't need any air. He was perfectly okay. And he was more covered in blood than Vernix, which I was surprised by. But I immediately started rubbing his back and, like, talking to him, and he started vocalizing. And my partner was crying. I wasn't even crying. I was still, like, in the mode.
I'm crying right now.
No, I was still in the mode of, like, is he okay? Are we okay? Because
you're still in your animalistic, like all the other animals.
Yeah,
on the
making sure your young is okay.
Exactly, do an assessment. It's just natural,
Yeah.
And, wow. So was there a moment when your baby came out, like a feeling in that moment?
Oh, just a big release, because I know a lot of women say the ring of fire. I don't know. I didn't really feel a ring of fire. It was just a ring of pain. And when he came out, it was like, and so happy. I could feel the whole room had relief, because Vincent said that the birthing team was also looking at each other like, okay, like, we need to get going. He needs to be here. They didn't tell me anything like that, and I didn't notice, but I'm sure they were,
Well, the D-cells with the breech,
Yeah. Heart rate
it's
going
different
down.
than just like a plain old home birth.
Yeah.
Wow. What an amazing triumph.
Yeah. And my partner was just like, women are amazing.
Yeah. It's really like, once you see that, I mean, you can't not think that even just during pregnancy, how your, like, body just makes a life support system for the little one, grows the little one from a couple of cells into a multi-trillion cell human, and then how you deliver that through your body, and then everything kind of closes back up and goes back to the way it was.
Like, after I was laying down and my placenta didn't came out right away, and it was 30 minutes, and Dr. Flores was like, well, I like it to be delivered now, otherwise I'm can I manually do it? But I also had a midwife, Alex. So she was like, let's give her a little more time because the ending of this birth was quite, rigorous. Let's give her more time. And I sat on the birthing chair again, and Alex held me from the back like a mom. She put her hand on my chest and she was like, let's take a moment to thank your body for carrying this baby, for birthing this baby. Let's take a moment for that. And that's when I cried. I was like, oh yeah, we did all this.
Oh, now I'm crying again, damn it. What are you doing to me?
Sorry.
Sponsored by Kleenex. Not really.
No, that's where I felt like, oh yeah, we did this. My body did this and everything's good. And midwives, they have this spiritual connection, which was beautiful. It was beautiful to have both. Yeah,
it's really cool to have both.
Yeah.
Working together like that, the best of both worlds, as they say.
Yeah.
Did latching and feeding go well?
It did, and placenta took an hour and a half. I'm sure Victoria Flores was like, okay. But she was checking my vitals and everything was good. So I was like...
Oh, so you did it on your own? They didn't take it out?
No, I said, give me a little more time. It was also so busy in that room, 6 people, and they were cleaning up. And I also asked, like, hey, can I have a moment and can everyone be quiet? I just thought, I still need to, I know for some people it falls out, but I apparently needed a little more time and a little bit more peace and quiet for it. And then it came out. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it released. And I had some blood clots, which Victoria Flores, she took him out by hand.
Manually, yeah. That's not the funnest looking.
No, but I'm glad she did, because then the bleeding stops sooner and it's better for your body, so. Yeah.
How old is the baby now?
Tomorrow he's going to be 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what did you name him?
His name is Saul.
Saul?
Yeah, I know it's a Jewish name. And his second name is Zion. My brother's name is Zion. So
also Jewy?
Also Jewy.
Yeah, that's all right. We share. We're happy to share.
Yeah.
Well, a huge congratulations to you.
Thank you.
If ever there's an example of someone who does their homework and sort of ends up in a situation where curveball is thrown your way and you calmly, explore the options, work your way through them and make a decision and follow through on it, that was you and your birth and your fabulous team that you had around you. I'm just happy for you that you had the option and you had sounds like a really lovely experience. Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, I feel so fortunate, having the right people and also trust in myself, but trust from my partner and people like you, just saying like, yeah, you got this. I think that's the most empowering for a woman. And then, whatever birth ends up to be, it's just nice to be empowered in whatever situation. Yeah.
Well, as I'm always inspired by, like your husband said, what you guys do to make, deliver, and feed babies and raise them. But in your case, like, I don't know, just a little extra hint of inspiration from really just like following your dreams confidently and pushing through to a beautiful ending. Pushing through. Literally. Yeah, literally. 1 foot up. Yeah. Pushing through 1 foot up. I was gonna repurpose the squatty potty and go on and church. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, congratulations. Let's not lose sight of the fact that you have a beautiful clothing line called Fumé Smoking. Yeah, it's smoky. Yeah. And where can we find you online? Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'll link it in the show notes because my name, as you heard in the beginning. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's spell it out. Okay, sure. It's ESMEE. Esmee. _ GEERATZ. And you'll find me and you'll find my brand in my profile and pictures of the little one and everything. Oh, yay. Did you put up any birth pictures? Not yet. I'll send some to you so you can. We'll share with the club. Yeah. Okay, amazing. Congratulations again. And at home, thanks for listening to our podcast. If you want to connect, we have this awesome new blog at informedpregnancy.com. Come check it out, informedpregnancy.com.